and share the truth of who she is. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Erin Slayton.
So I have social anxiety, and basically what that means is that I'm afraid of what people think of me. And I know it's basically human nature to fear judgment, but for me it can be debilitating. It makes me afraid to leave my apartment, to get up from my desk and get lunch, to ask questions, to send an email, to say hi to someone, to just be myself in front of other people. And this right now, this is terrifying. But I don't feel like I'm even saying anything. So if I am, I hope it's translating the right way. I remember times in high school and college when I'd be sitting in class and the teacher would ask a question, and even if I knew the answer, I wouldn't raise my hand because I was so afraid of making a sound, of being noticed. I wanted to participate, but what if I got the answer wrong and everyone thought I was stupid? Another time, I went out to get Chipotle. A simple task, I've done it many times before. But I went to 3 different ones in one night, and I went home empty-handed because I was too afraid to go inside. And I felt so stupid and helpless, like, why can't I just go inside? This is ridiculous. But it was just like something holding me back. It's this voice telling me that people will make fun of me, or the way I talk, or something will go wrong. It's my absurd things that my anxiety told me. And it was like there was this war going on in my head, but I was the only one who could hear it. It's my anxiety telling me that people will judge me, while also telling me that no one is actually really going to care. And it's exhausting, but this was my daily life, and it made me hate myself. I became depressed because I couldn't allow myself to be who I was. And I liked who I was, but I hated the way I was. I made myself so small and so quiet that I became almost invisible. I didn't want to draw attention to myself, so I became almost robotic. When something was funny, I wouldn't laugh. If something was sad, I didn't cry. I would put my feelings in a box and tell myself to open it later, but I never did. I always saw my quietness as a weakness because everyone would point it out in a negative way. They'd say, I'm too quiet, I need to speak up, I need to communicate better. I blend in with the rest of the crowd. First of all, rude. Like if someone said that to me now, I'd probably say that's not okay. But second of all, how am I supposed to change my personality? I mean, I've always been this way. When people first meet me, they think I'm cold or intimidating, and honestly, that's the last thing I want, but I don't know any different. I want to be that fun, outgoing person who can talk to anyone about anything, but that's not me. It was incredibly difficult for me to make friends, especially in college. It was very lonely and isolating. I just wanted people to like me, but I couldn't even talk to anyone. After most social situations, I would think about everything I did wrong, overanalyze everything. I should have said this, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done this, now no one will like me. And I always, always wish that I could be someone else, because I never felt good enough. And it made me wonder what was wrong with me. Nothing traumatic had happened to me. I had a good childhood, a loving family, I was healthy. But why was I so sad and angry and empty all the time? My feelings didn't seem valid. Other people had so much more to deal with, so much worse. Actual valid reasons for their feelings. A lot of times I wish I could give my life to them because I wasn't using it the way I was supposed to. I remember the first time I tried to get help. I was a junior in high school. I went to my school counselor and told her that I thought I was depressed and I didn't know what to do and I could use some help. She told me that she didn't deal with that kind of thing, so I didn't tell anyone else. The next time I tried to get help was 4 years later as a senior in college. I went to a therapist on campus and she wanted me to join this group of students where we talked about our feelings and shared our stories. And looking back now, it probably could have helped being around people in a similar situation. But having social anxiety and being terrified of everything, I didn't sign up. So I didn't go to anyone else for help because I didn't think I could get help. And I suffered for a long time. I remember times when I wouldn't want to get out of bed, and I still have those days, but at these times I wouldn't want to live. Sleeping was so much better than being alive, because I didn't have to feel anything. I didn't have to think. And then I wanted to go out and face the world, but the thought of doing something even as simple as putting on my shoes could be so exhausting that I would give up before I even started my day. And I didn't want to die, but I didn't necessarily want to be alive either. Or I wanted something else to kill me so that I wouldn't have to do it myself. A lot of times when I was driving to work or class or job interviews, I would pray that I would get in an accident so that I wouldn't make it to my destination. And at the time I didn't realize how terrible that is, to want to die rather than go on with your daily life. But it only got worse because I didn't think I could get help. But ultimately, it was my mom who saved me. She found me a therapist to go to and drove me to those initial appointments. And of course I didn't want to go because I was depressed and miserable, and therapy meant that I was broken. So I was very hesitant. And I'm a very private person. I don't open up. I don't share details about myself, except for right now. But especially with someone that I don't even know. So it took a while, and that's one of the hardest parts. It takes a lot of time. I wanted to feel better overnight, or at least feel something. A lot of times I would come out of a session feeling the same as always. A lot of times I didn't want to go back, but my mom kept bringing me, so I kept going. And things started to get better. I started to see my worth, started to feel more like myself. And that is something that I will never again take for granted. Because when you lose who you are, you lose your purpose of living. I always wish to be someone else, and that's one of the worst things that you can wish upon yourself. If you don't like who you are, it's impossible to be okay. I'm not going to tell you that it was easy. I'm not going to tell you that it worked like magic, because honestly, it was the most difficult thing I've ever been through. To hate yourself so much that you want to die, to feel like you're so unworthy of a life. It's a tragedy. But I did the work, over and over again. And I started taking medicine, and it's not a cure, but it did help. And with that, therapy, and my mom by my side, I started to feel better. Not quite whole, but a little better each day. And a lot of times I would fear falling into that hole again. I would take steps back. And I still fear that. But I know how much stronger I am now because of what I went through. And I know that I could get through it again if I had to. A lot of times I look back on this period of my life and think about how much I wish it didn't happen. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But if you could see me, you'd see how much I'm trying to be a better person because of what I went through. I know what it's like to feel excluded, to feel like you don't belong. So I make it a point to notice these things. If I'm in a group of people and someone is left out, I make sure to include them because I know it's easier to be in a group and ask someone to join you than it is to be by yourself and ask to be invited. I try to remember people's names and birthdays and details about them, and I'm not always perfect at it, but it's important to me because I never want anyone to feel like they're not memorable. If someone missed something they were supposed to attend, I make sure to ask them where they were so they know their absence is noticed. And I'm very aware of what's going on around me and how people are feeling. And a lot of people don't see this because I'm very sarcastic and I have a dark sense of humor. And I may not be the best with emotions and affection, just ask any of my family or friends. But I'm always trying to be the best person that I can be. I wanted to share my story because I'm tired of feeling so alone, of feeling so unseen. I have come a long way from where I used to be, but I know that I still have a long way to go. And I am stronger now, but I still get stuck in ruts where I can't seem to get out of my own head, or I have strings of days where I don't want to get out of bed, or don't leave my apartment. Recently, for about a month or so, I've just been so sad and angry and just unlike myself. And my mom figured it out from FaceTime, because she lives in Minnesota, 5 states away, and she couldn't be here to help me, so she made me tell some of my friends. My friend Catherine immediately called me, and we went on a walk. She helped me out. And my friend Becky, who currently lives in Spain, she checks in on me every day to make sure that I'm okay. And these are the things that I think about when I'm going through a tough time, the people who care about me. Because there are so many people who check in and make sure that I'm okay. And I'm so thankful for my support system, and I know that I have to reach out and use it. I also want others to know that if you're going through something similar, you're not alone, and you're not abnormal for feeling this way. There is hope, and you can get better. Also, if you know someone who's struggling, please reach out to them and be there for them if you can. Ask them to go on a walk. Help them clean their room. Help them go into a Chipotle. Just be there for them, because support makes a huge difference in this fight. Thank you.